Now let's say you have some kind of error in your code somewhere and you're just banging your head against the wall and can't figure it out. I'll show you some examples. So right now I can glance and tell I don't have any syntax errors, and I'll show you the difference here and how I can tell in just a moment. But let's go ahead and find our even-odd file, and I'm going to add in an extra erroneous semicolon. Seems harmless enough. And whenever you do this, notice any change in the file will cause an asterisk next to the file name. That means it's not saved. So I'm going to hit Control S to save any changes. Always Control S and then do stuff. Otherwise you're using old versions of the files. If you see anything with an asterisk, just know that it hasn't been saved. So now I can look over here and I can see immediately I have these folders with a little red line saying there's syntax error files. And I also, in my top, a little kind of sub file here was my even-odd. And now that the even-odd has a syntax error, it has a question mark next to it. It says, I don't even know what an even-odd is. But let's just try to run a simulation and see what we get. Okay, so it ran a simulation. Let's look at these warnings. You might have all of these clicked, and I think that might be default, but always ignore your infos and your statuses unless something goes wrong. What you're noticing here, I've got 6 warnings and 2 critical warnings. Now, the warnings by themselves, the little yellow ones, aren't a big deal as far as getting it to at least run. But critical warnings can be a big deal. And so what we're going to look at is it tells me I have a syntax error near this character, so the end parentheses, in the evenodd.vhd file on line 37. If I want, I could just click here. It will open that file, even if I'm on some other, let me just kind of go randomly. Even if I'm on some other piece of code, I click on this link, it will open up the right file and the right line. And it tells me that before, or rather near, the end parentheses there's an error. So that's how I would figure out what to do. So I'm going to delete that because that's not proper syntax. Control S. My syntax error folder went away. My even odd no longer has a question mark next to it, and I can simulate. But let's imagine that you went all the way through. You tried to download it to the basis board, and it just was throwing errors all the way, and you couldn't figure them out. It wasn't as easy as what I just showed. How are you going to get help from me? Well, you're going to do 2 things. The first thing you're going to do is go to your project folder. Mine is right here on the desktop. And if I open this up, there's a lot of folders in here, and if I open those folders, there's more folders, and eventually there's a whole bunch of files. I actually need to have all of this information. Bitstream I can't help you. So the best way to do that, because Google won't let you email it if it has a bitstream file in there. So what you need to do is right-click, go to Create Archive, and this is going to zip it in a zip folder. And you're going to say project1.zip, put it on the desktop. That's fine and dandy. So you saw it had about 175 files that it zipped in there. Now I need to put that somewhere that the instructor can access. And since you can't email it directly, you can put it in your Google Drive. So you have a Google Drive account that is associated with your CPCC email account. You can go there, just go to drive.google.com and log in with your CPCC info, and you're going to take this zip folder and just drop it right there. If you take the folder itself, it will actually take much longer to upload. Just do the zip file. Now this one says it's online, it completed the update or the upload, so it uploaded it to your Google Drive. Now you can do a share by going up here to this little person button, or you can right click on the file and go to share. Either way, you can write my email address in here. I don't even know those other email addresses because they are not mine, but there you go. So you type my email address and click send. Now that has just shared it with me. I can then go and download this code to my example Vivado installation and see exactly the errors that you're having trouble with. So if you have a problem, do that. And you won't have to email me an additional thing, and see, it just popped up. You won't have to email me anything additional because it will just pop up here and I can download it. I know you have an issue, but if you do want to email me maybe some important information, you can go to advanced, and whenever you're looking at inviting people, Adam.Harris, you can add a message. So even odd file. So then you can send it, and that way it will pop up with a little error message as well. So that's all you need to know to send me your files.